Hello.
Hi, Loretta.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah. How have you been?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
Did you, I was thinking of you the other day because um, I'm kind of getting ready for my parents' memorial service. And
Oh.
I was going through a ton of photos. I figure you have plenty of photos.
I have all the I have not been able to do that piece since because of COVID since
Wow.
yeah. So
Huh.
I'm hoping that this year I just haven't been performing. September will be my first time back because I feel like my work with the mask was just not good.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of put a
So,
halt to a lot of things.
yeah.
And it's an interesting process getting back into that. It's an interesting psychological process getting back into
Mhm.
the swing of
Yep. See,
performing even. Yeah.
like my dancers at the college, we got back. I mean, we were outside performing, but then they had the masks on, so that was okay for just straight up dance,
Right.
or if you're singing, then you can put the singer's mask on and
Mhm.
do that. But the
Yeah.
combination I just found was really challenging with the protection of the mask. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Just wait. Yeah.
I just waited it out. Yeah, it's
And then
okay.
it
Busy.
got a little more casual for a while here. So we actually did have a choir performance without masks. But then it's gotten a little bit more um, widespread so that things
Oh,
have,
yeah. We have a performance this Saturday, so hopefully no masks. I mean, that's
yeah,
good. Yep, that's what we're hoping. So,
yeah.
but it's a choir.
Good luck on that.
It's just a choir, it's a choir thing. So, hey, Veronica, how are you? How are you?
Good. How are you all?
Good.
Just ran in.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry, I've been so out of touch. It's been very crazy.
we've missed you and we're so happy that you're back.
Thank you
And
for the invite. I really
of
appreciate it.
course, it's
Thank
all
you.
good.
Hi, Emma.
Oh my gosh. Look at how many
Hello.
friends are here. Catherine, haven't seen you in a while either. How are you?
Hello, how are you? No, I normally teach on a Monday, so I haven't been able to come, but so I'm very excited to be here
Hi,
today.
Bill. So nice to see you. Oh, oh, and Christina's here.
This is
Well,
my first VDM back since Babyland
you gotta
started.
show us a baby. Is there a baby in your arms?
Where's the
There's a baby.
Let's see the
He is
baby.
eating, so here's a baby hand,
baby?
What kind of baby?
happily munching away.
What kind of baby?
Emma, did you hear the question? What kind of baby did you have?
I had a baby girl. Her name is Magdalena Cecilia Shubin,
Oh,
and she was born on March 1st, approximately maybe 36 hours after the last class I taught, in which I leaped around the room showing the wonderful Greg Risto what we were up to in our classes. And then we were supposed to have a whole other week of me showing him around and getting him acclimatized. And she said, yeah, that was enough of that. Let's go. So there she is.
She's a true Dalcroze baby.
Um, well, I think we should get started. Looks like we're already recording, so this is the official welcome. Welcome to VDM number 43, meetup number 43. And I think many of us know each other, but it's always nice to catch up. So I'm gonna make some short breakout rooms, and you can say hello and introduce yourself if you have not already met. So let's be there for 3 minutes. See you there. Hello, welcome back. Nice to see some new folks just joined. Welcome. Um, so today, our meetup is focused on movement. We were just talking about how nice it would be to get up and invite some of our colleagues to lead something where we could get up and move around. So if you are able to, I think it'd be a great way to participate. And also, if you need to be seated or with your video off, that is also totally fine. I don't really have space to move in this tiny closet, so I will be watching, and I'm probably going to steal some of your ideas and teach them for my last class that is coming up in 45 minutes. So yeah, I'm just, let me post the agenda so we know who our presenters are. Jill and Loretta will be sharing. And so, oh, where's this link? Okay. Opens the chat. So that's our agenda in that Google Doc. And we will start with 5 minutes from Jill and then do 5 minutes from Loretta and then have a discussion and some announcements at the end. So Jill, it is all yours. Oh, and Jill, make sure you unmute first.
See, I was just saying, I haven't done Zoom in so long.
I
I had my camera all set. Okay. So why focus on movement? I'm not going to have you move all around the room. And in fact, you can do what I'm going to do in your seat. But I'd like for those of you who can get up to get up. Why focus on movement? Because movements inform the brain. Brains get messages from our body. And today I'm going to teach you an integrative movement, a cross-lateral movement that's famous all over the world. People do it every day in their classrooms, some places. And I do it in my camp every day. The children respond to it, they practice it, they know it helps calm them. So this is an example of how to calm yourself as well as your students, because a calm teacher helps calm down your students. If you're cracky, you know how that goes. So what I'm going to teach you is from Brain Gym. I don't know if any of you are aware of Brain Gym. It's an international movement system. There's many, many integrative movements that you can learn. So everybody stand up. And what we're going to do is, it's called cross-lateral, which means we're crossing the midline. Can you hear me all right? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, it's great.
So if you're having trouble doing this, or if you see a student having trouble doing this, it means that they're probably having vestibular problems and they didn't appropriately develop their milestones or their primitive reflexes. So when we do this, I'm just going to do it with you to see if you find yourself calm, and then we'll talk more about it. So typically a kid will come and they'll start going like this. That's not balancing. Slowly do it. The slower you do it, the more the brain has to work on paying attention, and more muscles are used, more integrative activities going on between the nerves and muscles. So we talk about going granny slow. How slow can you go? So that's the first part of it. The second part is hookups, which was named before hookups of the today's name. So you could change it, but you start with your thumbs down, backs of the hands together. It's a little tricky. They love this. Cross the hands over and intertwine your fingers. Pull the arms up. And then you want to cross your feet. Put the tongue on the top of your mouth and cluck. Doing this for 1 minute, keep going, and deep breathing. You can close your eyes. Can bring a calm to your body de-stress you, organize. It's really great for helping kids get ready to learn. Then I like to finish it off by holding your fingertips together, uncrossing your feet, and putting your, I call it our energy ball, in front of your tongue, and just breathing again. Feeling the results of the calmness. So, did you all feel the effects? Raise your hand if you felt the effect. Only one? No, don't sit down yet. Okay, so what I want you to do is you can practice that at home. Only one person felt it. That's, maybe because I'm gabbing too much. So now what I want you to do is play with variations and think about how else can we cross lateral our body. We can take our elbow across to the other side. We can kick behind ourselves. Oh, I like that one. I see some variations. Yes, go ahead, keep going. Now you want to make sure the body goes with it so that you're actually twisting. It's about rotation. Anytime you rotate the body, you are crossing a midline. There's lots of midlines. Good. Now, how could you put this movement into your class, for example? What might you do? You could do, we sometimes do 1, da, 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 da. Then we'll go into the da, 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 da. Or they can go around the room. So you could take these movements into your working class is also the idea. How to sneak movements that matter into your classes that help integrate the kids. Okay, is that 5 minutes? Do I have more time? I have one more I could teach you.
Yeah, we actually do have time for one more.
Okay, so the other one, it's for older children. It's called what I call the elephant. You take your arm and rest your head on it. And this is kind of challenging. You're going to make an 8. You go up, keep your ear on your shoulder, and down, come up through the middle, and go over to the other side. I like to have the kids focus on their hand if they can. This is accommodating the vestibular system, which is our balance system. Let's do it with the other side. Head to the shoulder. You go up and over first to make your 8. Up and over. And then, of course, you can add elephant sounds. So this is all about if you have a child one day who's like, and you just look at them and you say to them, oh, let's stand on one foot. Suddenly, all that's going on in their head, just hold their hands, look at them, and stand on one foot. Suddenly, they're like, what? And they're brought into their bodies. So movements that require a little bit of thinking really help them focus on themselves and bring them into themselves and away from all the confusion that they're feeling unsafe with. The more they can feel comfortable with their balance, the more safe they'll feel. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jill.
You're welcome.
So appreciate that. Loretta?
Okay, so what I'm going to present today is just kind of an articulation of joints, bones, and skin. And so feeling comfortable, you can sit, you can stand, you can lie on the floor, whatever you need. Just begin by using your hands and putting gentle pressure on different joints and bones around your body. Just allowing a gentle, like delicate folding and opening of different joints. Don't forget your feet and your knees. Just researching all of the folds and the unfolds of our skeletal system. And then just wiping your skin gently, anywhere you want. And coming to focus your attention on your feet. And really feel your feet on the floor. Feel the bones clearly against the floor. Just doing a little toe dance. Just your toes. How can you just articulate the joints in your toes? One side, the other side. And then moving up to feeling your ankles, letting a dance happen with the floor. Just let the feet and the ankles move, just all by themselves. Try not to involve any other part of the leg quite yet. Just feeling that articulation side to side, scooping the floor with your toes, really feeling that your toes could be as imaginative as your fingers can be. Feeling the space in the ankle joint, allowing the shin and the knee to get a little bit involved. So feeling the knee as it hinges back and forth, the hollow of the knee, which is in the back of the knee. How does that feel when you open and close the knee? Just letting that joint really feel that movement. And moving up to your femur. So your upper leg, letting that take a little bit of control. And how do you initiate from your thigh? So let every movement from your thigh, whether it's internal rotation or external rotation, find a new starting point to move. So you're not really moving your pelvis yet. You're just allowing your thigh to move, your knees to move, and that ankle, knee, hip connection, which helps us find straight lines with our legs. And then allowing the hips to get a little bit involved. So you make this kind of a large bone dance. Think of all the big, your femur is a pretty big bone, and getting the knees involved, enjoying the expansion and the contraction, the bending and the twisting of your whole lower body. So your feet, your ankles, and maybe you can do something that's different on one side than the other. Initiation from the right side and the left side are a little bit different. And now just coming to a little bit of a rest and focusing on your spine. Just allowing the spine to move just all by itself. So thinking about the lumbar spine, which is the lower, kind of less flexible area. You've got your thoracic spine and all that space that the ribs have that you can move and articulate your rib cage, and your cervical spine that goes way up into the head, goes through the neck and into your spine. So the spine is what allows you to do that wonderful cross lateral movement that Jill just showed us. So there's the twisting of your spine and the spiraling and the rolling, just really oiling all the joints with movement. And relaxing that your lower body moves, and then also sensing your shoulders. Not just thinking about your shoulder blades, right? Allowing the shoulders to dance off the elbows. How does it feel if you just allow your shoulders to dance all by themselves, right? Stretching the shoulders, yawning with your scapulae. Which direction do you want to move them? And of course, you can't help it but include your arms with that. So just moving your arms as well, moving your humerus, your elbow, the hollow of your elbow. What happens if you let the hollow of your elbow initiate the movement? That's the opposite of the elbow joint, right? Where that hollow is. How does that feel? And how do the joints communicate with each other? So in the arm, from the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist, What happens when you engage your wrist? What is the quality of movement that you're finding as you engage your wrist? And then, of course, your fingers, all of the digits. Maybe you can do a little finger. Is it a unison dance? Is it an individual finger dance? There's so many digits in the fingers. You can open them and close them, just feeling all the articulations in those joints. Now just focusing more on your skull. So finding that articulation, you might want to rub a little bit, opening and closing, scrunching your face. You're allowed to make funny faces. If you don't want to be on the screen, you can look away from the screen. How do you really find all the twisting and turning in that skull and the head, shaking the head, rolling the head so that it's yesing and it's knowing, and following the jawbone and letting the jawbone like just initiate some movement, letting that face be kind of funny. So now we're just gonna move again to the wiping of your skin. And just to finish off, sensing the gap between your clothes and your skin. See if you can brush your skin inside your clothes in lots of different places. Like get more sensitive. Let your skin actually brush the clothes and gently, like you could give yourself chills just by rubbing your skin against your clothes without using your hands at all. How does that skin feel as it touches your clothes? Just stretching your skin as if you wanted to make more room for yourself in your space and feeling the yawn that carries through your whole suit of skin that you wear all over your body. And then just to finish up, again, smoothly wipe your skin, feeling that contact anywhere you want. Letting yourself come to a kind of a stillness. You can close your eyes if you want to. Just dropping the wiping and feeling the lingering sensations in your body as you connect to the inner micro motion of what your body is doing. And slowly open your eyes. Thank you. Like a journey through the joints in 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Loretta.
So one of the reasons I like doing this with my students is it gets them to think about their bodies in a different way. It also gets them to think anatomically and using their instrument. Like we don't realize sometimes how much our instrument we can articulate. All those tiny places that we don't think about so much. And the skin is, a huge part of how we express ourselves and move. And so just having them experience that.
And perceive the world through our skin.
Mm-hmm. The touch.
I love the whole idea of moving inside your clothes. That's crazy.
That's from Gaga.
Oh,
If anybody knows the Gaga method,
no.
that's a big metaphor in the Gaga world. So it's an Israeli choreographer that started this, and he talks about grabbing your flesh with your bones, which is it's interesting because you get this bound flow idea, but it's a different way of sensing your skin. Yeah.
Thank
What
you.
I really appreciate about what we both did in responding to your movement, focusing on movement, is we both dedicated this time to helping people go in, not look at me and do what I'm doing, but going in and feeling what it is that your own body is sensing. It's all about our poor little kids are all about sensory development when they begin. And if all we do is tell them what to do, they have no chance except to say, wait, I can't do that. But if we allow them these movements, I mean, the movements you were doing were a perfect, next step into out of the brain gym. The whole crossing, the focusing on different parts in the joints and the fingers and the bones, the addressing the body to inform you rather than you telling your body what to do. Do you guys understand the difference? That's great, because that's really where it's at today in self-care, is for all of us to just really pay attention and focus on our own selves so that we can make whatever's around us more calm and more rich. So anyway, that was a cool little combination we had there.
Was.
It was. Thank you. For
So
sure.
one of the things that I would do with this also is we extended it to props, which are just extensions of your joints. And I'm just wondering if that could be, if a prop could be extended into a musical instrument as an extension of your joint. I've never tried it before. I'm just thinking how like, I realize a piano might be challenging, but more like a flute, for instance, Veronica, I would think that would be like an extension of your body.
Right. I mean, that is our hope, right? That
Right.
we can have the instrument, we have the technical command of it, and we've trained our bodies to be musical and to feel that music, so that the music that we feel, then we can, like, the instrument is just another, I don't know, like we say the body is the instrument, but then when you have a real instrument, you want to be as comfortable with it as your body instrument.
Well, but are you as comfortable with your body instrument as you are with your instrument?
Right, that's the question.
But I also think, Loretta, in just a practical, fun exercise, is that we'd be moving and then in a complementary rhythm, so you have the movement and then the complementary rhythm into your flute. That's what it's called, right?
Hmm. Yeah, to fill in spaces. Well, and I guess I'm having trouble imagining what you mean exactly, that the prop is an extension of a joint. Because,
So
like, let's say I have a drum, like a drum requires some kind of like I can become aware of all the joints in my arm that are needed to play the drum. Is that kind of what you mean?
that's part of it. So how would you play the drum differently if you focused on your wrist, your elbow, or your shoulder?
Mm,
Oh, yeah.
So just, and so it's I think it's different energy.
It's letting your body inform your brain.
Yeah.
It's getting your brain out of the way and just noticing how that's interesting. I'll have to play with that. Energy through our body in different ways. We're so used to doing it the same way, so that when we inform, oh, let's beat the drum from shoulder, elbow, wrist, and see what happens. Find that movement and now play the drum with that wrist and see if it
Mm.
comes different. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to keep like hitting the drum with your wrist, because you probably get a sore wrist. But there is a proper way to play instruments. But I also think the experimentation of it could be really interesting, just to
yeah.
see, so Veronica, when I see you play the flute, and Emma too, when I watch you guys, you're moving your body a lot. You're moving your upper body a lot.
Mhm.
So, how does that infer the musicality?
Right.
That's,
And sometimes it gets in the way, right? Like sometimes it just messes with the embouchure.
yeah.
And so but then if you're totally stiff, you look like a zombie, right? So there is an element of communicating the music, I think, through our movements, but there's a tasteful middle ground, in my opinion. So,
Well, but from an exploratory idea, what if you were to do some Loretta movements and then play, just to see
right,
what happens?
right. Well,
Like,
and
go ahead.
I'm really interested in the breath part, because
What I
so
was just
much
gonna
of
say.
piano is percussion, right? And then I think string instruments also use a lot of weight, and momentum, and on the flute there's this added element of that you have to do all of those gestures and convey momentum through airflow, through changing your airflow.
Right.
And that's something I would love to kind of develop these movement types of exercise that also incorporate different kinds of breath. Like
Yeah.
I've kind of started picking up from like a children's yoga instructor, like the ocean breath or the waterfall breath or the blow out the candle breath. Like these are all kind of ways of beginning to access that. But then what are some more ways that we can really connect that to the flute? So it's not just this like collection of fun breathing games, right? But then like where is that middle ground then of let's blow in this very specific way as we move, and then we're going to pick up the flute and try to do that same gesture with the breath on the instrument.
Wouldn't that, it's sort of like just instead of telling your breath how to be, watching your breath when you're doing a Loretta movement and then applying that breath. See if your breath changes as a result.
Mm.
There are lots, like Feldenkrais never teaches you how to breathe. It tells you to notice how you're breathing. So, yeah, Loretta's movements, probably we might not have noticed, might have had us breathing differently because of that whole spine thing. Cool.
What are some other thoughts or questions that people are having? Yeah, Catherine.
I've just got so many things going on in my head. I wanted to say to Loretta, I loved how we started with our feet, because I think we can be so head bound and use our bodies as like transportation for this thing up here, that to start with our feet and come up to our head is so nice. It's a tendency, I think, I work a lot with string players who are sometimes tight, so I do a lot of shoulder things, but I've gone straight here, and actually maybe I should start with feet and end up here. And I think these move so differently if you've started down there. So I thought that was lovely. What I wanted to say something else. Oh, talking about the props. So I teach a lot of beginner string players. And so this idea of using the flow, a bit like the breath in the arm, and how the amount of bow that you're going to use determines the duration of what's going on. So we do lots and lots of work with scarves, trying to get the whole arm to make the scarf dance properly. So we'll do the piece with a scarf first, and then I often tie the scarf to the end of the bow, so that when they're actually doing it, they can still visualize and have this kind of, we were talking about noticing, really fixing externally, finding it inside, but fixing it externally on seeing what's happening, rather than, oh, I'm a down bow, oh, I'm an up bow, I've got to put my second finger here. This scarf has got this wonderful quality which your arm needs to have. Your arm needs to be like a scarf. So I often tie it on, and then when they've got it, I take the scarf away, and then we can put it back on if we need to. So I think the prop thing is such a wonderful middle ground from body to instrument. One more thing I wanted to say about using different parts of the body. I don't know if you've heard Diane Daly's PhD. If you've ever heard her talk about, she's Irish, and she's done a performance PhD on using Dalcroze in her own performing. Oh. She's a violinist, and she'd worked with Ava a lot, and Ava was getting her to practice in different ways. So Ava would say to her, make the sound come from your back, or make the sound come from your elbow. And Diane just had a complete kind of epiphany about how she could find different qualities of sound by thinking about the sound coming from a different part of her body. So it all ties in, doesn't it?
Ooh, I like that.
Catherine, is that dissertation something that's available that we could share?
That'd be great.
Oh, no, I'll ask. I've heard she did a presentation about it for her license, so that's where I've heard it. I don't know if it's available. I will ask her. But yeah,
That'd be great.
Certainly a kind of overview of what she did. Amazing work.
Thank you. Christine, yeah. Just make sure, yeah.
Yeah, I just did that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Beautiful presentations, both of them. I wanted to tell then Jill, especially just because I'm a brain gym consultant also. Yeah, and I just got my license very recently in that. So I live, what, excuse me?
Where are you teaching?
I live in Rome. I live near Rome.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
wow.
teach in Italy.
Great.
And I just wanted to say that, yeah, I mean, I did a little study on, I'm especially work because I work at a Suzuki school. I'm a Dalcroze teacher in a Suzuki school, and so I did I've been experimenting with Brain Gym with string players, you know, and I just had really wonderful results with it. And then I wanted to mention the what do you call them in English? The hookups. Yeah, in Italian we call that the knot and the magnet.
Knot, that's excellent.
The knot and the magnet, and that is absolutely, I can testify to how wonderful that is. It completely comes. I work a lot with preschoolers also, and it completely comes in with little children under about 5 years old. They're not able to do this, but it has the same effect if you just have them cross their arms. They put their hands under their what do you call them? Armpits, and you cross your legs. I have them do it sitting down too, because it's still, I mean, standing up has working on the vestibular system, as Jill said, works on your balance, but it's not just for balance. It's bringing all your energy here, and it has a wonderful calming effect. And it's, you know, about crossing the hemispheres and then going like this, you know. And I often do it like with the little ones with a little story, like, you know, I say that like we're capturing a butterfly and we're putting it here, and then we let the butterfly go. And then I say, for this, I say it's a little house with the windows open and the butterfly can fly in and out. And you can make up lots of little stories with that. But it is absolutely miraculous, this. If you have a class, which, you know, kids, you can't get them to calm down, you have them all sit down and do this and breathe really deeply and close their eyes and maybe do a few visualizations with them. With the little ones, it's a bit hard to explain the breathing part, but, you know, where to put the tongue, but you just, you know, have them take deep breaths, you know, it works anyway. And it's a really beautiful exercise. Plus, of course, many others in Brain Gym. There's another one, is it called the owl in I guess it's called the owl in English, yeah. And a violin teacher told me that worked wonderful for the, when you putting the violin under the chin, it just got him into the right position for that. I wasn't even teaching it for that reason. So everybody gets, you know, what they want out of it. And then I do Brain Gym I try to combine it with Dalcroze. So I try to, you know, accompany, you know, do it with music, or, you know, for different things like high and low, or, you know, staccato, legato, all this kind of things. You can combine it with that. So it, you know, so even if somebody isn't, you know, hasn't done all the courses, you know, the whole, you know, thing, which takes years and a great deal of money, but you can still, you know, just get, you know, I think there's a couple of books online you can get where you can learn the, you know, the basic exercises, even without, you know, going really into detail with it. And anybody is allowed to teach it to their class. You know, you're not allowed to like do an official, you know, Brain Gym class, but you can teach the exercises anybody want in an unofficial way. So I recommend it.
There's also a class now that simplifies the whole thing. That's just the moves. How many? 26 movements? Exactly.
That's one. Is it? I don't know if they have the same numbers in English. We call it that number, Brain Gym 104. Brain Gym 104 is just the simple movement, just the movement. So it's a simpler class. Yeah, it's a 16-hour class. So.
And the kids respond to them. I mean, 10 years ago, who would ever have thought to sit a bunch of 3-year-olds down and cross their arms and legs and rock? I do a rocking thing with them as well.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Then they calm down. They all feel the effects. They smile at each other.
Yeah.
They shock themselves, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
They're so calm. And I've had kids go home to their parents saying, Jill taught me how to calm down today. So it means that they actually are getting the effects. That's wonderful that you're combining the Brain Gym and Dalcroze. There's nothing like Dalcroze, you guys. You have the power to change so many people's abilities and brains and confidences. It's brilliant. I've learned so many methods, and I always go back to Dalcroze and his games. And thank you for your teaching, everybody.
Thank you, Jill. I think it goes both ways. We're so lucky that you have been coming and sharing at the BDM.
Well, thanks.
I think like I just think of you as being part of the Dalcroze world, and then
Thanks. I
you know.
am. I mean, it's so much
Yeah.
a part of my work. Thanks for
Yeah.
pulling me back in. It's been a long time since I've been here.
Yeah, glad you're here.
Thank you.
What other thoughts or comments? Oh, bye, Vincent. Nice that you were here.
Well, I was just thinking of another exercise, which I don't know if it came from Brain Gym or not, but it's something that one of our choral directors used to do with us. And you do the circle 8, but you do it sideways, and you
Mhm.
start large,
Right.
and you do a whoosh sound with it, whoosh, whoosh, and then you get smaller and smaller and smaller until you're just doing this tiny little circular 8 in front of you, and then you make the circle 8, which is also interesting because it's the infinity sign.
Exactly.
And then you make that grow and grow and grow until your whole body is involved with it. And it's very calming, but it also really gets your brain going.
Yeah, that's a variation on there. 2 different kinds. There's one where you just do it with your thumb. And then there's the other one that Jill was doing, which is the elephant that you do it. So I've never seen that before, what you just said, but that's wonderful. So they combine, from big to small and back again. And yeah, and there's another one where you, it's not exactly Brain Gym, but it comes from the same group of all different classes. And where you look at something far away, and you draw like with your nose, like you imagine you have like a paintbrush, and you draw an 8, a horizontal 8, the infinity sign, around this object that you see far away. And then you draw like a 4-leaf clover around it. And it's just very, very tiny movements with your head that I have constant trouble with my neck. And unbelievably, this very small movement, it relaxes my head. It's unbelievable. And you're supposed to put your one hand on your belly button as you do it. No, one hand here, sorry, behind here, one on your belly button, one here as you do it. And you draw around. First, you do a horizontal 8, and then you do a vertical 1, and then you try to do this little 4-leaf clover, one side and then the other. And this is for vision, but it's also relaxes your neck, and the same kind of thing. It's your brain, it's doing this. The 8, the horizontal 8 is wonderful for, especially for children, with dyslexic children and any other kind of problem like that. It really helps them to focus.
Anyone who can't do the cross crawl.
Yeah, who can't do the cross crawl.
Well,
Exactly.
so I have a kid in my next class who I know can't do that. He's like one of those all over the place kids, and he's,
So we're on
5. So then my question is like, how do you support a kid like that in
You
a
have to
class with
help
4 other
them.
kids who are more organized?
They have to feel it. So what I do, I don't know what you do, Christine, but I just go and hold their hands, and I have them lift up their knees. I let them do the walking thing. And then I just tap the knee I'm holding their hand so that they actually feel it. It's like you have to bust through that neuro pathway to design that way into the brain. And they might not get it right away, but they've sensed it. Their body has sensed it. You can do it sitting on the floor. Sometimes we do 11s and X's to get them the feeling of the hands across the knees. And so then just bilateral and then cross lateral. But they need, I think, this is my own theory based on a lot of people I've studied, I think they need the sensation. They need the help. They can't just, it's going to be so much more frustrating. They might not even know they're not doing it, is the thing. So just assist them. I actually want to go back to the 8 quickly. One of my teachers, Bonnie Hershey, is vehement about when you do the 8, you first go up.
First go up to the left and then
You
up to the
always
right.
go up. She
Yeah.
gets so mad. It's very different if you do it. If you feel the going up and then start it going down, it's a very different feeling.
It's important to follow it with your eyes too. I didn't say that. You have to follow it with your eyes. You go up to the left and then up to the right, always in this direction. This is because this has to do with writing letters. when you write small letters, not capital letters, but lowercase letters, like your small a, you go up to the left and in the middle.
You're
There are the
talking
letters, so
cursive.
all the letters are on the left side, or they're letters that start with the leg, whatever you call it, this part, like a B, and then goes to the right, and so all these letters can be drawn inside of this 8.
Oh, it's so cool. You can get that online, actually. That is something I've seen where they have the alphabet,
Yeah.
Lazy 8 alphabet.
Lazy 8 alphabet. It's wonderful. It helps many children learn how to write. Yeah.
Unfortunately, do they still do cursive in Italy?
Do courses.
Cursive.
Oh, cursive. Okay, that is very interesting. They practically only do that. What they do in Italy is they start with capital letters, printing capital letters, and they never teach them how to print lowercase letters. It doesn't exist. They don't teach them that. They go from printing capital letters to cursive, but they don't teach them how to. I don't know. I went to school in America many years ago, so I don't know what has changed. But when I went, we had little handwriting books that had little arrows. Did they still have those where they tell you what direction to go in? In Italy, they don't tell you how to do it. You just copy it, but they don't tell you first go to the left and then go to the right, and they don't tell you anything. So it's in fact my children, their writing is terrible, but yeah, they don't teach that.
In this country, there's no more cursive. It's very detrimental to the brain development.
There's no more cursive, because you just write on the computer or something.
And they've actually found though that you think in a different way when you write in cursive. So it's actually a vital skill to have, and as well.
The kids aren't going to be able to read their grandmother's letters anymore.
Oh, it's very important. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Carla Hannaford. She wrote some really wonderful books about movement and stuff. And she said that actually children should, and Montessori said this too also, that you should actually start with cursive. It's a more natural movement than printing. It's a more natural movement. And it seems to us that it's more difficult, but it actually isn't.
Kindergarten and first grade in Germany, second grade in Poland, and third grade and on in the US.
Mhm.
And I remember that definitely in Poland and maybe in Germany, we definitely did heavy cursive practice, because when I came to the US, in third grade was the first time those third graders in America were learning about cursive. And so it was like this really messy, confusing thing. And we just did it for third grade, and none of my peers really write in cursive in a usable way because
I can't believe this. I had no idea.
And for me, I was just used to writing in cursive, and I had to switch to writing in print because nobody understood what I was writing. So yeah, it was just very interesting that it's like that story of if you have the cursive early, then it actually becomes something usable for you. Whereas if you're taught it in third grade, it's just far too late for it to be.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. The kids only print in America now.
I think so.
Why?
I'm not sure. It's been for years. They've been
I had no idea. Oh,
phasing it out
I'm so glad I moved away. Sorry.
for lots of reasons. Maybe that's why
Yes.
we have so many guns, because we don't do cursive.
No, especially nowadays, and I just have no desire to go back. But
we're really, the whole point. I'm just going to say, if I have my soapbox, it's we all need to become more aware of what's going on in us with our feelings. Love yourself. I wasn't taught that as a child. I want you to spread that to everybody you teach in whatever way you can. Just help kids learn that it's not being stuck up if you care about yourself, especially women who are all taught the way we were taught. Anyway, so I don't know if you all know John Baptiste, who's my hero these days.
He's awesome.
When I dance, when I feel like this, I feel freedom.
Have you seen his acceptance speech for, I think he won the Grammy. It's like a 30-second acceptance speech. It is really beautiful.
And at the Emmys, he jumps up on a table.
Oh, is he the guy who's on Stephen Colbert?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
At the end of the show, at the end of his thing at the Emmys, he's on a table just feeling it,
Hmm.
throws the mic and looks right at the audience and says, "Love yourself." It's
Hmm.
the era we're in now. And it's the only thing that's going to save us to become more kind people, I think. Sorry, that's my thing these days.
Oh,
Thank you.
we need that.
I am curious about the elephant because
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a very strong experience of like, I don't think I've ever done that before, and this feels very different, but I don't know why. So I'm just kind of curious if you could explain why.
It's hugely vestibular. It's everything in your ear, your head, your eyes, your touch, your balance. And you're going across your midline. If you don't have a tendency to have your head to the side and move it through your midline, you're going to have some distortion going on in your body. And then when I go to the other side, I find a whole nother world. Today, when I did it, I was like, oh, I think I need to do this more often. What do you have to say, Christine, about that?
Yeah, I always had a bit of trouble with that because I have so much trouble with my neck. And so it's very hard for me to lean over, but I'm getting better. But yeah, it's another one of those that you actually are supposed to follow it with your eyes. And it's like you said, it's just another variation of the 8 of integrating the hemispheres. And it's
challenging. So
yeah.
many things. Especially
Yeah, I mean, and it's important to put your whole body into it, not just like this, but you move your whole body and you move your legs and do it very flowing. And this, of course, you can do it with beautiful music too, with beautiful legato flowing music to teach about, flow. If you want to do also putting Laban into it too, the movements with, free flow and things like that. You can do all kinds of stuff with these things. And the children really like, I don't know what an elephant sound is. Somebody wrote that down too. Oh, great.
My granddaughter goes
It's a horse.
with a very tiny little voice with it.
But if you think about Loretta's feet thing, too, just if you started, I love that idea, the flow through the whole body, gripping the toes, too, and releasing the toes, really bring you into your feet. And then if you added the thing to it, I love that idea. Why can't we?
It just made me remember the master class with was it Joan Pope, I think, right? With Joan Pope, yeah. And she was talking about elephants and how we always use that. So often we use that as an idea to tell the children, to walk heavy, like an elephant. And she said that actually, if you look at elephants, they're not like that. We always use that image to, walk like a mouse, run like a mouse and walk like an elephant, but actually elephants, they're delicate. They put their feet down so delicately. So I just thought of that now, we could combine it with this, that the gracefulness, the flow of the elephant instead of the boom, boom. We have to think of something else for big, like a giant or something, but not elephants. It's true.
T-Rex.
What? Yeah, T-Rex. Yeah, I don't know about that. As soon as he says that to boys, you lose control.
I have a 7-year-old girl who's learning the flute. She's very into trying her duet as a T-Rex versus as a fairy. But she always is like, "Can we do the T-Rex?"
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's cute.
I love elephants' knees. I think it's the knees that are so graceful about elephants. But I like with young children thinking about one particular thing, but imagining their feet are different. So a giant in big heavy boots, or a giant in slippers, or a giant in heels, or a giant. So you've got the same heaviness, but what's their contact with the floor like, and how does that change?
On springs. That's great.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So I'll try to find the class of 101 or 104. Do you know how to access that? I have a teacher here in Ohio.
They're starting to teach a lot of things online now. You have to go to Brain Gym now has the international website which is called Breakthroughs International.
Okay.
You have to go into Breakthroughs International, and then they have a list of all of the different courses. And I've never done one of the American ones, but I've seen that many times they have ever since COVID. You can get all kinds of things online. Yeah.
It might be really worth it if you're interested in integrative movements that work and that you could then take off and put into Dalcrozian things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's called 26 movements or something. You don't have
26 movements, yeah.
don't
As
have to
opposed to 101, which is sounds like it's a lower number, but it's actually more advanced. But the 104, the 26 movements is
Oh, that's a real
just
name.
teaches the
Oh, I thought,
movements.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send that
So
to
maybe if you find those links and can just send an email to virtualdalcroze@gmail.com, and we'll make sure we include that on the next newsletter so that folks can check it out. And then I saw that Carla Hannaford's name was typed in here as a person to look up. And what else were we going to look up? Oh, maybe Diane's dissertation, Catherine, if you have.
Yes, I'd love to read that.
If you're able to. And if you also just, Catherine, want to send an email to Diane and to me at Virtual Dalcroze and just let me do all that, I can follow up too. So.
Loretta, I'm just gonna ask Loretta quick. Do you know Bonnie Bainridge Cohen?
I do. I've done some of her workshops. Yeah.
Yeah, so the bone stuff, she's really gotten into that this year. I was studying with her. And she's actually started this co-currenting thing. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Amazing. So I was really exploring that when you were doing your moves, and it applied beautifully.
Yeah. She does some really nice like sounding and vocal stuff too.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I'll shush.
This has been so lovely. Thank you. I think in our last couple minutes, I'll just do the announcements. So Stephen Neely is in the midst of his short course series, and it's actually so connected to what we talked about today. There's such a focus on how the mind-body system is not really two separate things. And kind of unpacking these ideas that are kind of inherent and hidden in a Dalcroze environment, but we just kind of pass by them and move on to our musicianship goals often. But what if our goal is this integration and connection with self and with others? And so you're welcome to join that at any time. If anybody wants to kind of join halfway through, there's a live session meeting tonight in, I would say, 4 or 5 hours. And then there's also the past 3 are recorded, and you can always watch them asynchronously as well. And then looking ahead to July, we have a masterclass with Stephen Moore, and that will be on July 23rd or 24th, depending on where you are. And so we hope to see you at that one as well. And then I think there's a couple more meetups throughout the summer, so stay tuned for that. If you have things you want us to discuss or ideas for presentations, anyone is welcome.
Stephen Moore, they wrote a book. I think I have a book. I'm almost sure he wrote this book. Do you remember the name of the book that he wrote?
Not quite sure.
Wait, I'll show you.
So yeah, this is just a note for anyone who wants to share something or has a topic they'd like to hear more about. You can let us know whether you're here live or watching on recording, and you can send us an email. And thank you, Polly, for your note. I'm glad that you are listening. Christine has a book for us. It's called The Rhythm Inside.
The Rhythm Inside, Stephen Moore and Julia Schnellbly Black. It's really nice. And it has a CD in it for, like beginner eurythmics, but it's a really, really good book. So he'll probably talk about it in his class. So I'm going to try to sign up for that.
Awesome. Fantastic. And then thanks for the link about Diane's research. So we'll send that out.
Oh, great.
Oh, and Teo has the book too.
Oh,
Teo?
you got it too. Okay.
I have The Rhythm Inside and Rhythm 101, both written and signed by Stephen Moore.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then we got to both show up and show him we have his book.
Awesome.
Okay.
And were those written? When did he write that? The Rhythm Inside. Does anyone know? When was that written?
The date?
I'm just wondering when it got, is he a very current dude? Stephen Moore? I don't know.
Oh dear, it's written in Roman numerals. I can't remember my Roman numerals anymore. Something with a 7 at the end. Must be 87, maybe. I'm not sure. 97. I think it's, I don't know.
Anyway,
I can't remember.
so Veronica, if you need any more assistant ideas to help your kids, I can, talk to you further.
Thank you. That'd be great. And then we have a date up on the North Shore sometime in August.
Eventually, when you get here.
Yes, when I'm back.
In the Rhythm Inside, it says the students for our 1996 Summer Dalcroze training program at the University of Washington patiently repeated the exercises for the CD while we refined the commands.
Come on.
Actually, years ago, I saw on YouTube, there were some videos of this with some of his exercises there. So it might still be there. I don't know.
That's so Dalcroze commands.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
We
you.
will see you next time. And thank you
Thank
for
you,
this
everybody.
lovely, lovely discussion.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Good
Bye-bye.
seeing you again.
Bye.
Bye.